So my finance case is dragging on forever. What can I do about it? Now, anybody that's gone through finance cases, whether you are dealing with a finance case following a divorce or whether you're unmarried and you're going through talata proceedings, you'll all have that feeling and that frustration that it's going on forever. I mean, even if the court it runs on time. So typically a finance case takes around a year. Finance cases are bulky by its very nature. I mean, it's a lot of paperwork. I mean, there's bank statements, there's P60s, there's pension stuff, there's credit card statements, a lot. It's a lot. So let's just talk about typically the things that cause delays in the beginning. So the first thing is deadlines being missed. And no, there's no sanctions for deadlines being missed. You've all seen Pirates of the Caribbean, right? So there's a famous quote in there that says, they're more like guidelines. And that's typically what happens. Typically a court will give an order and there will be a tight schedule of documents that need to be served. And although it's quite wordy, the court document's quite wordy, really in amongst it, it's just basically a massive to-do list. But that to-do list often can be missed and all sorts of things go wrong. I mean, Formies, for example, are meant to be exchanged simultaneously by a certain date. And now either one or both parties haven't got their Formies and the exhibits together, whether it's not a case of you show me mine, I'll show you yours. It has to be done simultaneously and sometimes there's a delay in that, regardless of whether parties at this point are represented or not. If there are reports that need to be due in, sometimes that can create a delay. And then of course there's good old-fashioned people messing around with the process. I mean, there's just that. I mean, I suppose that could be a whole other video in itself. But the court typically want all of this disclosure because it's cards on the table. From the court's point of view, they want to see what they're working with in order to divide up assets and liabilities, or if you're in talata cases, what to do with the property. So with that being said, of course, if the ex is mucking around or if it's going on ridiculously, by the way, the court has a duty to make sure that delay doesn't happen. It does, because courts are the court and court admin, depending where you are in the country and depending which court admin you're dealing with. Some courts are busier than others, so getting a hearing date can be a struggle. Just saying. I'm not mentioning any names, but some court admins they're really busy, and sometimes court admin aren't talking necessarily to the judge or the magistrate, so it can be difficult when you're getting out a hearing date. And then if the ex is really messing around, deliberately not answering questions. I've seen some vexatious people, vexatious litigants, and they deliberately are not filing their formies, they're deliberately not adhering to the court timetable, then you're going to want to file an application to get that into court a little sooner. A kind of, let's just evaluate where we're going here, okay? So that's probably it's managing expectations. So what I'm giving you here is just a guide and a voice of perspective to know that it's okay. Delays, especially in finance, delays tend to be the norm. I always act sort of blasé when deadlines are missed, etc. And I think, well, you know, there are no sanctions. Of course, keeping to a tight court-ordered timetable is important because there's a lot of stuff that typically needs to happen before you get, especially the first hearing. The first hearing in a finance case is usually quite important because so much stuff has to be done before that first hearing. And it's often that first hearing where delays seem to take place the most. Other delays I've seen where perhaps a court has ordered that certain documents need to be filed and they're not. That could be for various other reasons. I mean, maybe people can't get the information that's been ordered of them, especially bank statements if they're really old. If there's a specific piece of information that's needed, it's difficult to get hold of. I've seen people who've got bank accounts in different countries, and sometimes the information coming from different countries, it's a bit ad hoc, it's not great. Sometimes there are things where you need translations, you know, or valuations of properties that takes a little longer. Reports I've seen everything. So just know that delays, especially in finances, are kind of, I would say, the norm actually, although I tend to lasso it and make sure that we're not dragging this on, because you guys just need this resolved and you just need to move on and get on with your life and just get the fair outcome, because nobody wants to be in court, absolutely nobody. So let me know in the comments below, is this something you're facing? Are you going through delay the process? Are you literally about to lose your mind? Okay, your sanity? Are you questioning your life's choices at this point? Probably are if you're going through a divorce, but know that this is the norm. Drop your comments down below, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll check you later.